the plight of Nigerian women. He spoke about single mothers and how they are demonized in the Nigerian society.
Yeah,
that's another example of discrimination and power imbalance.
Yeah.
All the men that are here, since they did not, some people didn't call in that first live show, which is okay, but we can address the absentee father stuff, right? So Egosa and Toby, and they were listening to here. What, and as men, are you able to, shed more light on what the impact of absentee father is in the life of a son?
That's a very, very it's a very I don't think we can finish that topic today if we start. But as like as a boy, growing up as a boy without your father, you're like you're like you're like you're like a computer that does not actually know what programs to install.
Oh my.
That's
Really?
like because I'm in the technical world, so that's like the very next, because as a man, like as a boy grows to become a man, and there's certain like stages in your life as a boy that you get to where you need your father to kind of guide you and tell you this is wrong, this is right. Because as a boy, especially when you're going through puberty, like there's a lot of medically, there's a lot of changes. And there's this one particular hormone that we all know that it's like that testosterone. So people think of it as just um just like a regular hormone. Me, I think of it as a powerful drug because it's responsible for a lot of like differences between men and women. It actually it allows men have more physical strength than women. Generally, like when you look at the difference between a man and a woman, I know in today's society there are a lot of people who don't like to talk about it, but me, I always talk about it because it's very important. When you look at physical differences between a man and a woman, the major hormone that is responsible for is that testosterone. So when a boy is growing up, you don't like a boy doesn't really don't know how to handle responsibility of that drug, because the boy becomes very violent. Because once any human being, once you receive power at the very first stages, you don't really know how to control it. You need someone to guide you. So when the boy starts growing up to being a man, he starts growing the muscles, starts having all this like physical strength. If the man is not there, if the father is not there to guide that boy is most likely to end up in jail.
You think so?
Most like it's
Statistics also
most
show that.
there's actually statistics to prove it in America. I don't know about other countries.
Mhm.
Most likely, because I remember growing up as a boy, like there's certain times I've almost gone to the wrong path, but my father was just there to like stop me. It's not just me, even my younger brother growing up, he was very, very stubborn and violent. Sometimes my mom would say that she doesn't know, even sometimes when she thinks about my younger brother, she's always grateful to God that my mom just said all of a sudden he just changed. Like he just changed from this very stubborn boy to be this very
And
obedient, responsible
Adewale,
man.
can I ask you then, why did your younger brother change?
Because my father was there. My father my father was
Okay,
there to
so
stop.
your father made him to change. Your father was an influence in his life,
In his
right?
life, my father was kind of there to just stop him at every point, making sure
But
that
don't you
my
think that your younger brother, even in the presence, oh, you and Ella, I'm not taking over your show.
yeah, yeah,
No,
yeah.
no, no, no,
Like,
no, 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 no.
ask the
They're not,
questions.
it's
Ask the
okay.
question.
I like the
Okay.
conversation going on, and
Okay.
it's for
So
you.
don't you think that even in the presence of your father, your younger brother made the choice to change?
He did, but my father influenced that choice. My
I
father
don't.
did.
This is the part that I really don't agree with. Not just in this conversation, in a lot of conversations that I've had. because we, like I said, I made a quote last week. I just want to repeat it again. We are not the product of our environment. We are the product of the choices that we make, right? So even in the presence of your father, I believe that your younger brother made the choice to change. He decided, he saw the good and the bad, and he chose the good with
Um,
somebody there at his guiding light, right?
yeah, I understand what you're saying, but I don't think our choices are independent of our environment, though.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, our choices are influenced heavily by our environment because our choices come from somewhere. They don't just appear like it's not just something we think of. It comes from what we see and what we experience.
And here,
Yeah, and also the choices come from options that we see. We have a lot of
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
options,
That's what I'm saying. The
and we
options that we see.
choose the one that will shape our lives, right?
but a
It's
young
we
boy may not necessarily have to see all those options
you
first.
don't like
You have to go.
as a young boy growing up, we almost never see those choices because I
It's a
how do I
certain
say
developmental stage.
a stage. There's a certain development stage in a boy that we feel on top of the world.
Mm.
Okay, because
It's
Because I guess I
I
understand
don't
what
know.
you're saying, but we are probably looking at it from the adult side.
Adult stage. That's what you're looking at it.
okay, because with me, right, I have a different opinion because okay, I okay. A bit about myself. I am from a single parent home.
Mhm.
I grew up a single mom brought me up from 0 years right up to the age that I am today. I never had a father in my life, right? Okay.
Yeah.
And I just to make it short because we've had a long time already, and I've never, there's nothing in my life. I've never had a father figure like this one is my father, right?
Yeah.
No, but I believe I don't want to blow my trumpet, but I believe I turned out right.
Blow it. Blow your trumpet. Don't
Yeah, you
ever be
did.
humble about it.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I believe I turned out right in life, right? Even though I did not have a male model in my life. Everybody, even outside my mother, I mean my mother is a queen, but even outside my mother, I don't have I don't have male figures that I look up to. Even from the books that I read, I mean, I love Toni Morrison, I love Oprah Winfrey, I love Maya Angelou. You know all those strong women are the people that I look up to. The only male that I kind of look up to a lot is Barack Obama, and it ends there. Okay, so I just want to say that the role of it, because that's why I emphasize on choice, right? Because I chose to make my life better. I and my younger brother, even despite the fact that we did not have a male role, a male role model in our lives. I
Mhm.
mean, my mom took up the battle to see that we turn out the way we are in life today. You see, yeah. So society, so that's why I emphasize of choice, because society is a choice that you make. Because if we have homes that you have a father, you have a mother, but they raise up criminal children.
Yeah,
True.
that's
Yeah,
true.
a lot, millions of homes. Yeah,
That's true.
yeah, and we have homes when we have children being raised by single mothers, single fathers, and they turn out top in society.
Mm.
Okay,
True.
I mentioned Barack Obama. Barack Obama also grew up from a single parent home.
Yeah.
His
You don't have a
mom.
financial. Mhm.
Exactly. So these are the differences. So sometimes and believe you me, seated here, I don't miss a male role model in my life. I don't miss it. If this is how life is sweet, growing up with a single mom,
Okay.
I want it.
Okay. Can I ask you a question?
If there's anything like reincarnation,
Okay.
I want this life back. I want my only my mom in my next life if I come back.
Mm.
Okay. Can I ask you a question
Go on, please.
before I say what I would? Would you want your children
Hmm.
to be raised the way you were raised without a father?
For me, we are in 2022. each one, we define our families, right? The family structure of father, mother, children, maybe it's not a standard of how a family looks like, right? Each one, I define what my family looks like. My family was my mom, my grandmother, me, and my younger brother. Four of us. That was my own nuclear family. There was no father. That was my own nuclear family, and I made the best out of it. It didn't happen by choice. It didn't happen by choice. I did not choose not to have a father, you understand, right?
I
But
didn't
it
say that.
happened like that, and I made the best out of it. So if it comes to me as well, if my children do not have a mother, or if they see themselves in that kind of situation, children also make choices. So children will make the best out of the kind of family they see themselves in. Yeah,
Okay. All
children
right.
will make the best from the kind of family they see themselves in. Because my own family was me, my mom, and my mom, grandmom, and me and my younger brother. Four.
Well,
That was my own nuclear family. Yeah.
I look at this thing as in terms of numbers. Like for every Egusa, there are 10 other Egusas that didn't make it. I just look at it as a game of numbers. I'm not saying like single mother homes are bad, because even there are a lot of like two parents household that don't even do as good as single mothers. But what I'm just saying is like um it's the role of a father is like, how do I say this?
Okay,
It's
yeah,
it's,
it's
it's
of a good father
It's
though,
very
because
that's,
No,
that's what I'm saying.
I
I'm
am
not. I'm not.
not. I am not
right.
saying
A good
Adewale.
father,
See
right?
right. See right. Can I say something? I am not saying that fathers do not have a role to play. Right,
yeah,
they do massively. But what of those people who did not have the opportunity to have fathers in their
yeah,
life? They
because
too. They made the best
of what
of
they
what
have.
they saw. Yeah, of what they had. They made the best out of it, and they turned out
Good.
perfect in
That's
the
No,
eyes of
true.
I'm
society.
like I'm not talking about people who didn't have a choice. I am talking. I'm speaking to the absentee fathers. So
Like
they
the,
like
So the
I'm
the
speaking
absentee
to
people
father.
them
who
so
show
No,
they
I had an absentee father.
Mhm.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm
Yeah,
speaking to those
yeah.
men so that they might have a change of heart. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm not
Oh,
I'm not I'm not like speaking to the children or the mothers, because they don't, there's nothing they can do
they're not the ones
basically.
that left.
it is the father
No,
that
Exactly.
because
They're not the ones that left.
Yo-Yo asked about children without fathers in their life,
yeah, the impact.
right?
That's the
Yeah.
impact.
And
Mm,
that's what
So
I'm
that's why
saying.
I
Like,
inserted myself into
yeah,
the conversation, because I didn't have one, and I didn't see anything wrong in that. Even though I didn't have one, but I didn't see anything wrong in that. So that's why I emphasize on choice.
I
Oh,
mean,
okay.
I'm also
Yeah.
speaking also about the children who actually really need one, because I mean, you made the choice. There are a lot of children, like there are a lot of kids that can't even get to that level
Yeah, so Egosa
because
is like the very rare case.
very. That's what I mean. It's not even. He's not very rare, but
No, we are
he's
not rare.
on.
We are a lot of us.
There are a lot of him, but they're also like for every one of him, they're like two or three of him on the other side that can't get to that level where they can make that choice. I was the first child in my family, and there are a lot of things that I had to learn on my own. I'm the first person in my family to actually go to a university. I'm the first person in my family to actually do a lot of things. So there are a lot of things I had to learn on my own because I didn't have a choice. But my younger ones actually had more options because they had someone like me to guide them.
See,
So Egosa is kind of like the first child of the family, but there are other people that don't have that can't get to that level that they need
that
that
will, they don't
guidance.
have the will that Egosa had.
yeah,
So in spite of
Exactly.
not having
having
this
this
person
person
in my life, I'm
I'm
still going to be
Exactly.
who I
Like
want.
for example, Egosa's younger ones actually took him as a father figure.
yeah, most likely.
He's their
What are
father.
we wrong?
No, we actually grew up together.
Exactly.
We are just
But
three years
you guys,
age
yeah, you
difference.
guys
So
grew up
we actually grew
together,
up
but
together.
you are actually there.
Like he probably
If
looked up
they
to you.
And all,
exactly they think of a father, you're going to be the one they're going to think of. You're going to be the one because but
Of
you,
course,
you
I'm a
didn't
good
have a choice.
father. Mhm.
You had to grow up yourself. but the other children that they can't get to that level, and that father is needed there. It's
Yeah,
like
because I'm
it's.
kind of very sensitive in this topic, not just today, for many years now with
I
my
understand.
friends
I
who
understand. I
who
understand.
grew up in with their both parents, right? Because I'm kind of sensitive with it because we are kind of like being discriminated against
Yeah.
Well,
because sometimes unconsciously so, sometimes unconsciously so, as if we are kind of handicapped because we never had one parent in our lives. So we kind of missed something. That's why someone like me, I always proudly say that I don't miss
Anything. Yeah.
that man in my life. I don't miss it. That's why I say that if there's anything like reincarnation, I want this single mom again in my life because I had the best out of it.
Yeah.
And that's your story, and that's who
and
you
that
are.
yeah,
yeah.
and that's you and be
Yes.
proud of it.
But for me, I've met
And
like
that's
friends
why
like
and because I grew up because females brought me up, that's why I even became a feminist in the process because I saw they had a huge influence in my life. That's why I am so pro women. I'm a feminist because I see that, but why are these women so discriminated against when they are so capable of doing a very, very good job in society? You understand? Because if they are being given an equal chance in society, I mean, they'll blow the roof.
Load
Yeah,
you.
that's true. That's
Okay.
true.
I
And
get
I,
it.
I mean
I hear. Sorry, Adewale, go ahead.
I mean
Hey, baby.
the reason why I'm not I
Hello.
don't totally agree
Hey.
with Egusa is because I've met friends like Egusa who really did well. And I've also met friends who also didn't do well like Egusa, and they'll tell me, I wish I had a father. I wish I had a father to guide me this way. I wish I had a father to guide me that way. That's why I'm kind of
You know,
I'm
you
kind of
know,
on the fence.
The beauty of this conversation is that both of you are representing two different demographics, and that's perfect.
Exactly.
yes.
That's perfect
Exactly.
because somebody will come and relate with what Egosa is saying. Another person can come and relate with what Adewale is saying, and that's amazing. Because there's somebody that is either there could be a young man or young boy watching, and they listen to Egosa, and maybe they also have very amazing women, mother and grandmother and great grandmother in their life that they probably also they're probably missing their dad, but at the same time maybe forget to appreciate what they
recognize
have,
what these women have
and then
done.
hear what Egosa are saying, like, let me look back, and just
Be like, okay, in spite of everything, like,
yeah,
I still turn out great.
yeah. And there's also people that that from their Adewale's
Point of
view,
who still feel that there's a void.
there's a void, and they want it. And also the fact that we're talking about your younger brother and like how you believe that your father's influence kind of helped redirect some of his choices as a boy.
As a boy. Yes.
You could maybe speak to absentee fathers, and I defined absentee father in the first
previous
video. That absentee father is someone that can be presently absent, which means that you are physically present but you are absent. And the
You're
ones that
absent.
are physically absent, emotionally, everything, they just ghost.
They just ghost. And
They just
and if
ghost.
you're in fact you have a child, you don't have a right to be doing that.
Exactly.
There's no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no reason why you should have a child and like you just up and leave. It's not right.
I like the difference of opinion, and I
Yes.
totally appreciate both of you for having this difference of opinion because you people are catering
They're
to
balancing out the equation.
balancing out everything.
Okay. Can I say one thing I also noticed between the difference between Egosa and the two sides? The thing is, I'm very sure that Egosa's mother was able to play the mother and the father role at the same time. They're women like that.
Yeah, but this is
they're
like,
women like that. But there are also some other women who can't do that.
now, but this is my question, right? This is where I come in again. What is the mother? I don't want to make this video too long because I'm trying to digress again.
Oh, my brother.
What's the mother role and what's the father role?
Okay, as a boy's mom, can I come in? I have two boys. My husband is in their life, so I guess come in from that angle because I've been trying to just keep wait till you guys end it. But I kind of, like I said, I kind of understand where, as a woman, let's just say I end up as a single mom, I have to do what I have to do to make sure that my boys turn out okay. So it sounds like if you have that energy, it sounds like that's what you gotta go. But like when Adewale says, for every one of you, there are 10. I think I kind of agree in that sense. Just because I've seen this kind of go wrong. Number one, when it comes to I have two boys, right? And it got to the point where I told my husband, it's like, even if anyhow, God forbid, they were like, all right, we are done. I said, this boys must go with you because I don't have the energy. So when it comes to the, I guess we had our kids here or whatever in the US, and my husband's kind of hands on. One thing I noticed for one, the first step, was my kids even going to learn how to pee, and like it just like literally just learning how to pee, splashing all over the place, not even getting a hold. It took my husband like guiding them one on one. This is how it's done. This is what I'm saying. This is how you. This is how you. If we, this is how. Just that alone. And I could sense. My husband is like kind of could be like a little bit workaholic, right? And before my son turned 5, he started talking about he wants to go to work. He wants to go to work, and then every summer, literally, he would go to work with him. How did that happen? He just kept seeing this man going to work and getting that directed. And you can just see some of the questions they went some of the advice, the way they talk to me and the way they talk to their father is totally different. And when it comes to like, okay, the role of a mom, as a mom, I can be I'm always like we have that emotional outlook to things, than real. I mean, to some extent, I'll just say based on my personal experience and based on the friends that I've kind of hang around with. See what I'm saying? My son busts his head, for example. I'm screaming, I'm crying, I'm all over the place. I'm even threatening there's blood all over the place, and I'm still trying to beat the boy. You see what I'm saying? And it took like a calm, level-headed man to just say, calm down. Let's go. I was trying to go to upper care pediatric. No, he said, no, let's go to the ER. You see what I'm saying? And it took that road to just, okay, this is how I'm going to drop you guys off here. This is how, there's just some kind of leadership when it comes to I'm a guy that wants to be in the kid's life. There's a difference there. There's a difference. The guy that wants to play a role as a dad. You could tell, like, even the way some questions that they're going to ask you is totally different from what they ask the guy. There's some leadings that, that I mean, just, I don't know, sometimes they can't even place a hand on it. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes I go crazy. I'm stressed. I'm frustrated. I can't even handle it. I'm like, go and talk to your father. I'll call my husband. Your kids are started again. No, you see what I'm saying? I really like, they'll be calling me mommy. I'm calling my husband like, hey, come and handle these children. Look at. And guess what? He'll be like, I'll handle it. So I'm saying. And even when it comes to like advice, like my son is like almost like there, like very soon he'll soon be like that puberty stage or whatever, You can just tell like some of the conversations here and there, little advice here and there. We as a mom would do my part. That's what I'm saying. But sometimes you feel like they tend to listen to this guy in the sense that they feel like they're on the same shoes, and whatever line the guy toes is the line that they end up kind of. So you see how I'm trying to mimic, especially when they are younger. I don't know what's going to happen when they become adults, Especially when now that they're younger, you could just see that some little things they are picking up here and there, For example, I had my kids arguing one time, and obviously they've seen their father buy tickets if they're doing travel. So I'm saying, and I'm always the one packing their bags. Next thing I hear, my son just says, "Oh, my wife will be packing the bags, and with me, what I'm gonna just buy the tickets and pay whatever." So I'm saying that's exactly what they say. So just pretty much like that guy, that. It just I don't know if you can take that away if you have a choice.
I get what you're saying, Amaka. And just to bring in the feminine point of view, it's like I'm going to talk about where you were talking about where your husband is teaching the boys all these things of maybe as one of your sons who's to enter into puberty and start experiencing certain emotions that yes, he can come to you as a mom, but as a dad too, there is also things that the father would say. Now come to you from a feminine point of view. For example, when we women we start experiencing puberty as girls and we start getting our periods, it's easier for me to talk to my mom than my dad because my mom has gone through that before. So just they are different. Like the role of a father is very important. The role of a mother is also very important. But what we're going to talk about the role per se, I think it's up to the families to define what those roles are.
The nuclear family
to define what those
those roles are.
Perfect, Ella. Perfect, Ella. That is where I'm coming from.
It depends.
That's where I'm coming from.
But
Because if we assign specific roles to specific people, then we are gendering again our families. You understand? Everybody,
Yes.
any sex, any gender is capable of carrying out any assignment. My mom sit us down and she preached sex education all the time. Condoms, contraceptive. Don't, if you get a girl pregnant, don't do that. You understand? Every month we had a sit down. Sex education. This is a single mom. You understand, right? She does all that. You sure? I don't want to go. I don't want to go into the details, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether a man is there or a woman is there. It doesn't matter. Okay, for example, my mom, she doesn't cry. I've never seen her cry.
But
She
you
does.
don't think
But
that
you
she
don't-
ever cried.
She might cry, but you might not know.
Maybe
You might not
internally, or maybe inside of her, because she's the one who will come. Hey, why are you guys crying? Come on, go do this, go do that, go do that. If you sit down and be crying, who'll be doing this? You know, she's that kind of a person because she grew up tough. Maybe her toughness came from the fact that she's a single mom. If she sits down and cry, who will do this and who will do her? Exactly. So she grew up so tough, like so tough, and it turned out well because if we kind of assign that, okay, if a man is not there and the girl who will be there if the girl child starts seeing her first menstruation and all those
Period
things.
and all
No,
of that, yeah.
exactly. We are gendering roles.
Not necessarily.
No,
No.
gendering.
It's not
It's like-
gendering.
Yeah.
If somebody, if
It's
a
reality.
woman is, it's reality, Egosab. You know why I'm saying that? Because if as a young girl, we are going through our own puberty stage, the breast is getting bigger or it's paining us, or we're beginning to see our messes.
When you see somebody that's
father-
passed through that,
A father, no matter how much he wants to try and explain it, he will still look for a female that would help the daughter kind of understand
Exactly.
the process. It's the same way with the boys when they are going through their own, is it wet dreams or
Wet
whatever.
dreams,
Wet
yeah.
dreams and all those things, yes.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so that's where Amaka and Adewale they
Adewale
are
are
talking.
it's like a thing
It's not
of-
really gender.
it's not like a thing of
it's a
connection.
reality
It's-
of
It's for example, if you
Mm.
God forbid anybody, you have people who have lost their parents before.
yeah.
You can be talking to me about your pain of losing your parents. I have both parents still alive. I can never understand what that means because I have not passed through it as a human being. So it's the same way if, for example, I have a son tomorrow. I want my husband to be there with my son because I have never experienced what it means to have somebody's dick rising in the morning because I don't have a dick to rise in the morning.
Or wet dreams.
But if I have a daughter who is
Ella, you're going back to your word. You're going back to your word because you just said something very important that each family should define their
Yes,
roles.
agree.
Exactly. So that's what I'm saying
That's-
that
I agree.
it's not. It doesn't necessarily mean that a woman must be there for the girl child and a man
No,
must
I'm
be there for the
I'm
boy
saying
child. No.
She's
I'm
saying that
saying
in
that
her own
in my own
her own
family,
personality,
I want
what
it
she
to be.
wants.
Because Amaka brought up the point of saying that, for example, the kids have seen all the great works that their father does and what she does as well. And they've seen that the dad is the one that buys the tickets and the mother and she, the mom, packs the bag or whatever, however the dynamics is within her family. But that's like her own family style. But your own family style is different in the
Very
sense
unique.
that you have a strong mom, you have a strong grandma.
Yeah.
This is what you saw growing up.
That
So like
despite
you never, and still to today, you never believe that
And
you
she-
lacked
anything because
which
your
is also
mom
good.
filled up everywhere,
Filled
which
up which is amazing. Then what
But
I
can
don't
we
want to
agree
say-
on one thing? Maybe can we agree that no family structure is superior to the other?
There's no
I
family
agree.
structure that is superior to
There's
the
no
other.
family story. I think
That's
what
my
I'm trying to say.
Now that's my that's it. If we
No,
don't agree on
I
that,
think
then
Egosa, you're
that's
making one fundamental when I say mistake, I think you're thinking that every woman is like your mom and your grandmom, and that's not true.
no.
That's
Abiwale.
this is like okay.
Yeah,
I'm going to explain it differently. I think you're thinking of it in terms of gender roles, but
Mhm.
the way I see the father and the mother in the family is not in terms of role, but in terms of how the children perceive them. Generally, children perceive their fathers as security. Generally, Like even if when you see family structure, the man might be
I
doing
think
more
that's
of
if
the.
the man was there in the beginning.
That's what when I talk
He was
about
never
a
there.
father,
He was
I'm not talking about. When I say father, I'm talking about the bad was upset. I'm talking about
He was
the
at
father
home.
in the actual sense of the responsibility.
Mhm.
Whenever you see a responsible father, the children usually see the man as security, regardless of whatever role he plays, regardless of if he's the one cooking in the family or he's the one, washing their dishes. But they see him as like a security, and they see the mother as how do I say it, as someone to go to when they have like
Comfort.
uh questions or emotional, but they see the father as security, someone who protects them. This is
Well,
not
we can. I
A
this
think we
is
hundred
can.
not
percent.
roles.
We can
This
agree.
is this is
We
not
can agree
roles.
to disagree, but
And
I
Yeah.
disagree. Yeah.
I feel like I get this. I guess based, I guess maybe based on the way you were brought up, like you said that you turned out right, turned out perfect. There was nothing wrong, and truthfully, there was nothing wrong. That's what I'm saying.
Millions of
But
others, as we not just me,
overall,
millions of others. I'm just a face
I
here.
know,
That's what
See what
obviously,
I'm
yeah.
saying?
Yes, I mean, which I agree. There are a lot of strong women that like, if like sometimes I'm like, even me per se, I'm like, how do single women do it? I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not those one of those strong ones. So maybe just God decided to just slap it on my face right now. So God forbid. So I'm saying, I myself, when I see, I have a friend, like literally, she pulls all kinds of job. Like if you see how the way she manages her home by herself with her kids, I'm like, every time I'm telling her like she's my hero. So I'm saying, because me personally, I know like I'll go crazy, which I kind of I get that, especially if you. But also you have to know that women are built differently. There are
differently.
women that will
Exactly.
stood up, knock their chest, say nothing, nothing. I'll send my kids to the highest school. I will do
Perfect.
the best. They won't even feel nothing. And trust me, there are a lot of them out there. So I'm saying,
Yeah.
And then there are also women that are like will literally shatter or break down at the absence of any man. Like there's like anything goes, in and out. And those are the ones that talk about the environment. So I'm saying because there's no guidance, there's no rule, there's no like okay, there's no like okay, this is how we can, and you can't just say a child that started off a child that started off like just doing whatever from a very young age. All of a sudden they'll decide to. No, the environment will definitely play a role in that point because okay, let's just say like they live in like in a poor neighborhood, the mom is just barely scratching by. There's no any kind of figure, any kind of anybody to look up to. And I'm talking about out of from nowhere, the guy trying to grow up and decide to make good decisions. No.
Yes,
There
it's
always comes
possible though.
it is possible, but let's look at the data. Let's look at the data. Let's look at adults. They'll tell you like, oh, that was never or whatever in my life. This is how I turned out. This is what I'm saying. No, let's look at it's possible. I'm saying they'll have those outliers. Let's not act like there's no data to back this up. There's 100% data.
Yes,
I'm
there's
saying,
data to back it up. That's the thing.
there is, but I'm just saying, but that's what I'm saying. So it's not like there is, and there are millions of people still scratching, still holding strong, and still moving back. And that is why when they're talking about now, they are trying to create awareness about, especially with Africans, when you don't like a woman. When or you a woman don't like a man, do not bring that to the children that you that is a movement now because they are seeing the impact somewhere. The impact is huge. It's getting,
Society, yeah.
do not bring it. Yeah, do not bring it into the children that you bring out of this life. Your kids have nothing to do with your personal feelings for each other. I see what I'm saying. Make sure you as a woman, make sure if as much as possible that each parent have something to give to that child. I mean, in the case that the man does not want to, the woman does not want to, then that's fine. That's what I'm saying. But if you two can just say at least this is what this person contributed to my life, you know what I'm saying? If advice based on what is going on in the society. So I'm saying, that is just overall. It's not like nobody's saying anything. No, 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 no. There's no standard. Trust me. There's no family standard that is superior to anyone. That's what I'm saying.
So
If a
yeah,
woman,
that was what I wanted to get out of this.
And
Yeah,
Yeah,
no,
that's
there's
the
not.
point.
and we agree.
I'm glad I'm hearing that. Yeah.
Yes,
No,
Yeah,
there's
we
not.
agree on that, but I'm just saying like there's a fundamental bedrock of a family that you can't say that this shouldn't be there. I'm not even talking
It
about rules,
is.
but like what I'm just trying to say is that it goes like your mother and your grandmother, they're like a different type of women. They're
Very
also women that are not like your mother and your grandmother, like can't, like raising a child alone is like when I see like single mothers and single fathers, I always remove my heart and respect them because they're doing
Strength, man.
the job of two people.
And we know, and we knew widowed men when we were growing up.
Yeah.
That stayed for years without remarrying. Like I'm talking 20 years.
Yeah.
Because
those are men who
Ella and Yo-Yo, see right, Ella and Yo, because one of the things in society where we are going back to the boy child, to the boy child, right?
Yes.
Where in society, if we see a man who is a rogue in society, and we'll say, oh, okay, he turned out like that because he didn't have a man in his life. That is so unfair. That is so unfair. I totally disagree with that. You understand? Because even if a man, there are millions of men out there who had both parents and they turn out worse.
Yes.
Worse. Like the Hitlers and the Putin of the world today. They turn out worse. So that is why I say that, okay, because they think about the environment. Yes, I explained this quote last week. So let me just repeat it again in 2 sentences, right? Our environment shapes us, isn't it?
Yes.
It's a factor into who.
However, we have the choice to change.
Yes,
that's true. That's very true.
Yeah, it shapes us, but we have the choice now to change from the negatives of our environmental influences. You understand? We have the choice to change. So that's why I always emphasize of choice, because I may grow up in a single parent home, but I'll have a choice to choose between good and evil, just like that book says. Choose good and evil. You choose the one that's good for you. So that's why I always emphasize on choice.
Yeah, we do. We do agree that people grow up in environments. Some people will say environment is a product of the people that they throw into society, which is true because our environment is who we become. By the end of the day, we have choices. So as there are people like Barack Obama, there are people like Tyler Perry, there are people like
Tyler Perry also is a good example. He grew up in the single parent home.
There are people like Endurance too, who his father is alive. He knows who his father is. This is just
but he's so absent.
It's still, there are people like this who, against all odds, they will still come out thriving. But for many of all these people, there are also the other ones who then say they will decide to be bad because they always have to say, I'm bad because this one happened in my past. But that's not what we're saying here. We are looking at like the negative impacts, for example,
of an absent father by choice. So we're addressing the fathers now. Yeah.
So we have strong kids who grew up without fathers and who had lioness mothers. For example, we have a Gosa on the platform. If a Gosa didn't say all this today, we would have not even thought about and how passionate he is. We would have never thought about it because that's it's like it's your family style. That's what your nuclear family means to you. And it's not your nuclear family. It's not subordinate to mine because I had both my father and mother. No, that's your style. That's what you grew up knowing. That's where your values, where you collected. That is where it all came from the fruits of strong women. But there are also people who, like Amaka and Adewale were saying, that they are women, but they don't have the strength that your mom or your grandmom or whatnot had in them. Then you have these women, some of them, instead of, let's say, focusing on their kids to become the best possible kids that they can be, some of them will end up marrying the wrong men in the sake of saying they want to look for a father figure.
Yeah, for a father figure, exactly. Yes.
So it's beyond like gender roles or whatever. And the examples that Amaka and Adewale and myself and you were bringing up about, if a female is seeing her period or if a man is seeing, but that's the reality. Like as a woman, it might not
happen, she'll figure it out. If there's no woman there, she'll figure it out. That's life.
You will figure
it out. Every man that can figure it out.
But as a child, if I'm as a woman, I'm seeing blood coming out of my vagina for the first time. It's like what's going on? And if nobody has taught me about that, you also have your mom who taught you about sex education. There are people from double parent, male and female parents' household that their parents never taught them about it.
Exactly, that's it.
So it's like I think the focus on the first video was the men who have these children up and down,
refuse to be there.
They genuinely refuse. We are saying that there are some children who they could have not handled it the same way Gosa handled it, the same way Barack Obama. And not forget that Barack Obama
was raised by his grandparents.
His grandparents were also there. Tyler Perry strong mom. There are many
Strong mom,
men
exactly.
in the NBA, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, raised by their mothers. But for many people like that, there are also other people in the
Many
society
broken ones.
that still yearn
Yeah.
and need their father's love.
Because
So
they
we're
go to
saying that
school,
as much as
they do all this stuff.
the father's love is still important. The men that chose to be absent, they should not we should not be hailing them in society
because that's what we're
as
addressing.
men that just gave birth to many children.
Because there are many men now, because we're seeing the impact of the absentee. I think we're going to feel it more in decades to come. You know why? Especially with this part where people are moving from Africa and they're coming to the diaspora. And you have some fathers that probably they've been in their children's life. They may not have even been the perfect role in their children's life while they were in Africa.
Good. Exactly. This topic is still
they come and totally destroy everything. Now that child is completely broken. We're addressing those fathers.
And that child would have been better off without a father.
But the thing is that
that's a possibility.
But we do not know. We do not know because, again, Amaka brought about the strength of the woman and support. You're getting me? The strength of the woman and support.
Endurance would have been better off without a father in his life.
But his mother is not even there either. He has not seen his mother in 4 years.
He may have been better.
But the mom is not there.
We don't know that. We don't know that. That boy, we don't know that. Okay, because it's
like as a child, your parents have. It's like if you bring every child into this world, why the hell are you not there? It's like if you buy a house, then you just leave it there like that.
And all those fathers that just wake up and just leave. We have a lot of them that are living in the diaspora, living double lives.
Very true.
Living double lives, and we're coming for those people because by choice they choose to break the family unit that they were already in. So they will leave their wife and their children in their abroad, or they are the ones that there are some of them that will send their wife and children to abroad to continue with their useless and irresponsible life.
Yeah,
those fathers are the ones we are dragging. Then the another set of fathers that we are dragging today are the ones that are physically present, but they are absent in everything that has to do with the child's life. They leave the child for the mother to take care of. There are many children that are broken from that because you are physically there as a father, but you are not doing anything. People are going to school. Okay, they are used to seeing their other people's parents are used to seeing that person's parents, their father doing this and all that. You will be feeling bad, like, okay, I have my dad in the house. He's not even doing this thing. It's different from somebody that never had the father in the life at all. He was never present.
It's actually way worse than that. Even some fathers don't even know the class their kids are in.
Exactly.
Like the year.
Yes. So
I love friends like that.
Absentee fathers, they are even the ones that, so for example, now the kids that they never knew who their father was. They're also the ones that they know who their father is, but they just know that there's an imbalance. Because, for example, in the case of some African Americans, where you hear some black men talking about you say, okay, your father, you know he's there, but he just does not care about you.
And that's even worse.
Or he's having kids everywhere.
That's worse.
That is even worse than when, like, or from the get-go, you just know that, okay,
it's not there.
Yes. I'm not waiting for him to come and pick me up on visiting day. I'm not waiting for him to send cards. I'm not waiting, you know. So it's like, it's a very, very
imbalanced stuff in the child's life.
Different branches.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Because those are the kind of fathers we're addressing today.
For the single moms out there that
single parent mom and single parent dad.
Single parent mom and single parent dad that we are calling them the lions because lion are king of jungle. Lions and lioness that they took on both roles of playing dad, playing man and woman. They took on both roles. Like, it's a lot.
Protector and nurturer.
It's a lot of work. Not to say that women cannot also protect their children or whatever, because we know how women can be when it comes to whatever happens with their children. But at the same time, we have to recognize that two people made these children and two people are responsible for those children.
Yes.
I think it's a very dicey topic for me because sometimes when I see two sides of it where single mothers and single mothers mostly are demonized. I don't like that. I also don't like when
that was my fear also.
That's I guess that's where you're coming from. I also don't like the other side.
I'm glad that you're
that's why I understand you completely. I understand where you're going, but I'm also coming from the side where like men are now using that as an excuse not to be in their children's life. Because I've seen that a lot of the times where the men will just, man, their mother is there, she'll be able to handle it, and it's not always true. It's not always, like, I'm telling you, one single person raising a child is like, sometimes I always say it's almost impossible because it's too much. It's a whole human being. if it
Because my
was
mom once said that, well, I'm lucky that I just had those two of you. That if you were three, four,
exactly
you understand?
And that two of you also made the choices to be turned out to be very cool, be high quality
exactly
men.
Yeah.
Because you and your brother
Because
Exactly.
there are people who their single mothers sacrifice
have done
everything for,
everything.
but they are still douchebags.
Mm.
You also have some single mothers who will also not learn from what has gone on with them, but they
They'll
will
be
go and be
copulating.
having children with other men instead of like it's
Because we heard stories of, single parent homes. Sometimes, like, we had a neighbor down the street. Oh, he will sell the TV, but by the time the mother came back from work, he has sold the TV. He will sell the puppies.
Exactly.
He would. They always sell things.
Yeah.
But those scenarios. I'm talking about another single parent just down the street. Right? She even passed away a few years ago. Okay, but if it comes to our household, such things never ever happened.
because and they go, sir, you know why? In as
Never.
Because of the
much as
kind of
your mom and your grandmom
your
take all these
grandmom.
values in you, you and your brother,
You made
you
the
chose to
choice.
be
made
good
the
people.
choice.
That's where the thing of environment, family, and choice comes.
And today, my grandmom even, I'm speaking at a personal point of view. My grandmom even contributed in making me an introvert, because I was tied in the house until when I was going to the university.
Introvert or extrovert?
Introvert.
Introvert.
Oh.
You dare not stay out after 6 o'clock.
They're protecting you.
Right until the age of 18. I'm being serious.
It happened to us,
That's,
of course, now.
Like
that's
even
how
like
that's how disciplined we
Yeah.
were.
like even like
by these
sometimes when
women.
like
Yeah.
even when I look at even like men and women who turn out to be like very successful, they come from single mother households. When I look at their single mothers, they're very, very strong women. They're not they're not just like the like anyhow kind of like very strong women. And that's where yes, then I understand, like yeah, I understand why these children turn out okay. But then I've also seen like single mother households where the mom is even overwhelmed, like she's already overwhelmed providing for the
Yeah, she'll be
family.
seeking for the pastors as a father figure,
Exactly, it's a father
or
figure
the
because they
neighbor
know
to
they
talk to
can't
or the
handle it.
neighbor to
To
talk to the
talk to the
son.
boys, especially if you become stubborn and all those
Yeah,
things.
if you become stubborn.
Exactly.
Mhm.
I know for a fact. I'm even going to say something very personal. My father actually in the early 2000s tried migrating to America. So he was one of these victims of like agents who take like Nigerians from Nigeria to
Abroad.
Libya, and not from Libya then they go to Italy. But my dad didn't go to Libya. He first went to the country I'm currently in right now, the Netherlands, and then he tried going to London from France because there's an underwater train from France to London. I don't know if it still exists, but he was caught there, and he actually spent like 6 months in French prison. This is like personal story,
That's so sad.
and he was there while we were like while my mom was trying to provide for us in Nigeria, all because he wanted to like go overseas and like give us a better life. And then he said that he actually almost took his own life in prison, and what stopped him was me. He said that he just kept thinking, like, if I leave this boy alone, he knows that my younger ones, because I'm the first child, they're most likely going to look up to me. And he says that I must not turn out bad. He was just that was what was keeping him alive. He actually had a chance to stay in France and make a better life. But he realized that the most important responsibility he has as a father was me. And he moved back to Nigeria.
Amazing.
And I'm till today, I'm always grateful for that decision he made, because I know for a fact my mom is great and everything, but I know for a fact that she could not handle all of us, especially my younger brother at that age.
Yeah, I get you.
I can extend that's why I'm also on the other side of Egusa's argument. That's where I am coming from.
It's a balanced argument.
Very balanced.
It's
And
balanced.
I like it.
We are
I'm
talking about
admitting the fact that my mom is not like Egusa's mother and grandmother. She cannot handle it.
It's
I'm
true.
not saying she's not a good mother, but she cannot handle the responsibility of raising us alone. And there are a lot of women like my mother. That's where I'm coming from.
Yeah. I appreciate you, Adewale, for sharing your story because it kind of added
It
to
gives
what
context
to what we're talking about, and then also for the first story,
first video.
Yeah,
for anybody who might be watching
that
up to this point, sorry, Yo-Yo, and you are confused. We did a first story, my African, about this. You see the picture here. You can.
Yeah, it is connected to endurance. Yeah.
Yes,
very, very
connected to
connected.
endurance.
And you see, at the point of even the point of where Adewale's dad was also thinking of taking his life, just like endurance was thinking of taking his life. He had to think of his purpose, the purpose why he has to be alive. And he said, "My first son." It's like a son of hope. It's like if the father thought about your father probably talked about his lineage
and thought that all the responsibility that was for him would then become Adewale's own,
and that
is not supposed to be so.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not supposed to be so.
So he made the responsible decision. Yes. He made the responsible decision to come back home because he knows that if he makes it right for Adewale, if he tries his best to make it right for Adewale, at least the rest, most likely they will turn out okay. You know, parents to say if the head is not good, the rest of the children is
They feel if the head is of a fish is rotten, then
the rest is like okay. That's
Amaka, you've been muted for so long.
So Adewale, we appreciate your father for making that wise, difficult, common sense, responsible decision.
And we also appreciate the Gosa's mom.
Yes,
look at the human being that you are. God.
Yeah, that's like I actually want to say like your mom or your grandmother are very exceptional.
They're writing all these things in the book.
Like they're very exceptional. They're very, very exceptional.
No, I agree because when Adewale said that he knows that his mom can't handle it, I think I fall in that category.
Yeah.
When I know, I'm like, God knows I can't. I'm not even gonna lie, If anything goes none, I'll tell my husband, let me just have that visiting right. Carry your sons.
Right, I want to say something, right? Single mom, most single mom, I think they are single mom not because of choice, it's by chance, right? It's not a choice.
True.
I believe that, Amaka, if you become a single mom, if you were a single mom, you would have handled it. I'm telling you.
You don't know that.
The strength will come from a place where you will never imagined you will move on with life, you handle it, that's it.
Oh.
Me, I actually pray that Amaka does not become a single mom.
Amen. No, I agree to that.
No, I'm saying that if it were the case, you would have handled it.
Yeah, I get the same because you don't know the kind of strength you have until you don't have on the choice. I get it. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. Like for me, when my mom was alone, I saw how she struggled, especially my younger brother. I saw it.
And some boys can be very stubborn. No, I kind of understand what you're saying. Some boys, God, is it the one that will go and play soccer and break somebody's thing, or cut leg, or be fighting,
their head will be bleeding,
or gather all their rotten socks from play soccer Monday to Friday and put inside bag?
Dead drop from the banister. Just dead. Go to an island and dead drop. No, that dead drop. Not even try to hold yourself. Just boom. What are you trying to prove?
I remember my younger brother. Whenever he was hungry, he liked like bananas a lot when we were young. And if he doesn't get that, the whole street is not going to be at peace. Because he just cry, run, and my mom would say, "What do I do? What do I get?" But she would run and start looking for where they sell bananas. And he was not even up to 5 then.
Maybe your dad was like that when he was a young boy, or maybe your mom's lineage, a man, or even woman, your mom's lineage was like that because
you might not just
be executing.
You know why I was saying this? Because when I was in secondary school, my mouth sharp. Not be now when I don't calm down. Because I used to say, what God did not give me height, He gave me mouth, so nobody would do anything. But when I was growing up, I'll be hearing, I think my mother used to say, "Lady, you have to be calm. In my days, I was this, I was that." Until we went for a friend's son's wedding. They opened my mama ash there, talking about how she was and how feisty and all. I said, so you people begin to make me feel like I'm possessed. And my maternal grandmother,
also feisty.
Who is my godmother, very feisty. So they had them. I don't know whether they had like 11 and some children died. And at that time, in those days, they were telling my grandmother, my maternal grandmother, she has to marry. She said no. They tried to force her. She said no. She's married to her first son. She know they marry again. That woman is so independent, so strong. So somebody say, oh, yo, this Chris, he's from somewhere. He not be from environment.
It's
not
not
bloodline.
It's bloodline.
It's bloodline.
It's bloodline.
So who knows that they were maybe your dad lost banana.
Yeah, my mom says so, but I was like, there are a lot of things he used to do when I was young. I was like, where does he get this from? Because I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. I could because we were kind of afraid of our fathers to a certain level. But my brother was like the first person to stand up against him. And I was like,
he's standing up against himself.
I was like, what would you do? And my mom was just there quieted. She was just laughing.
Yeah.
So like I guess I'm just saying, like, for me, it's just like I still want to speak to the absent fathers because they are the ones that are causing these problems. For me. They are the ones that are causing this problem. Because I mean, my own is like, if you're not sure that you're not able to raise a child with someone, don't have kids with them. Don't.
Yes.
Don't. If you're not sure, like if you know that yes, you can't, you're not going to be in the same, you can't be in the same like vicinity with someone. Don't have kids with them. Because once you have kids with them, that person is in your life forever, whether you like it or not.
Yes,
they're going to be in your life forever. Like I saw a video recently of a man who went to see his kids, and he realized that he had like twin sons, and he realized that their hair was bushy, and his ex, the mother, didn't really notice it, and he took the kids to the barber shop and cut it. And then the mother came, was like, why would you, what gives you the right to cut my children's hair? Where did you cut it? What gives? I'm like, he's their father.
Exactly.
Yeah, we need to talk about those kind of women too, because they're also like part of the problem, you know.
And the man, even the man couldn't even say, like, he couldn't see anything. Then I realized that there are a lot of things he has done to that woman that's making him kind of return the bitterness with bitterness. And they were doing it in front of the sons. I'm like, you guys are, I feel like these kids.
This needs to be addressed though, because at the end of the day, nothing that the guy has done to you has nothing to do with the children that you guys made together. I feel like the time has come when as Africans we need to start stepping away from that mess. It's what I'm saying. You know, I don't use my child against me. Don't use, you know, we had those kids together. It has nothing. Like, I don't understand when women, you take away that power. Like the power of, you're not going to hurt me again. Let's just say like the worst case scenario. Someone, you know, the biggest thing is infidelity, right?
It's not just women though. It's not just women that do it.
I mean both sides. But I'm talking about. But no, I think no. Trust me, I'm a girl, right? I'm going to tell you. I think we have it worse because 99.9% of the time it's like the men leave and then leave the kids for the women overall, and they just have, like, you know, try to be there in the child's life as much as possible. So that's majority of the time the women have primary custody. So you see them just interjecting this doing all this little childish behavior. I'm like, what is going on? This guy cannot hurt you anymore. Then I was like, okay, he used to slap you around when you guys were together. But if taking away that power, you've left the fool. See what I'm saying? So that relationship shouldn't, I said maybe the person is like, for me personally, I said maybe the person is like a molester that doesn't draw a line between anybody else and his kids, or an abuser, like an extreme abuser, or like something is really, really terribly wrong. That's the only one reason why you should just withhold those children from the guy, or maybe a druggie, you know. Then these are reasonable. You're trying to save your children from themselves or from their bad parents. That's what I'm saying. But not that I'm hot because you left me or because you used to slap me around. Nobody can ever. I would never understand. And I've had that argument with many people. I would never understand that. When we're together, can you imagine? He talks to this my friend. How dare him do that? Okay, you've taken away that power. That one has been taken away, and so that the person cannot hurt you in that way anymore. So the more you start trying to like do all this poking and playing all those games, I feel like that's the more you yourself getting hurt and getting sucked back into the whole mess. You know, the law, the whatever thing you guys document sign, that he will come on Saturdays and pick up the kids at 9. And then put the kids at the make una waka dey go. Make una father they go. I really would not understand that. Sorry, and I feel like that's also one thing that we also need to address as women on our own. You know.
Yeah, I think in the African community we don't believe in co-parenting. I don't know why.
Messed up. Like really, like it's really messed up. You know.
It's just really messed up. On the women's side, they'll prevent the man from seeing the child, like
even in
way they
Nigeria,
can.
if they send the woman out of the house and it's a rich man, whatever, the rich man to prevent the
Will
woman
not-
from seeing
exactly,
There's
exactly.
a very popular politician that is doing that.
That does it exactly. Even sometimes the men go to the extent of telling them like, your mother is this, your mother is that. They'll start like poisoning the mind of the children. Like you don't do that. The worst thing that you can do to a kid is making that child decide between
You and
the
their
father
mother,
and the
yeah.
mother. You can't do that.
Yeah.
It's like you're tearing that child apart.
Yeah.
That's what you're doing.
That's
But like I don't know, in African community we don't see that. It's like our emotions are
You don't
involved
see
in
children
it.
as human beings now.
We see them as weapons. That's what
They're
we
weapons.
see them as weapons. Exactly. As weapons, that's what we see them as.
Yeah.
And then what is it KK? I'll call him KKF because I don't want anyone to attack me. KKF is he's using these kids
Short
as
fuse.
weapons.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Short fuse.
And he's calling the mother his kids
yeah.
is it a wizard or witch? I don't know.
Yeah.
And it's just messed up. It's just messed up.
And then there are no laws or no rights in the country.
There are no laws in the country anyway.
Protect.
So
And it's very painful.
it's just painful and sad, really. Like when it comes to like whenever a society is not a good one and is lawless, the people who suffer the most are usually the kids anyway.
Yes.
So
Yeah,
that's like women and then kids. Women, kids. That's how it is. And Nigeria is a very good example of that.
Very, very true. Very, very true. And we derailed a lot with the premise of this video, but for you people to understand, go and watch that the first
video was fire
about the story of endurance. And I think part of what Egosa also brought into this show, if I want to tie it to what we're talking about today and the plight of Nigerian women, he spoke about single mothers and how they are demonized in the Nigerian society.
Yeah,
that's another example of discrimination and power imbalance.
Yeah,
in society as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's very, very true. They shame them and all those type of. I think that's ridiculous, though. I think that's very ridiculous and very mean.
Very, very mean. Very, very. You will not. Well, we have said a lot of things in this video. So
make we round up now. It has been an awesome. I'm very happy that
it was a very, very great show.
Yeah, I like today's conversation. I really liked it.
It is because of people we brought it to.
Yeah.
I'm glad I joined in, even though I came in late. I was just like, I was just saying, look, I take it for a 2-day life, so I'm glad.
We're so happy that you came in because I know that you're very busy today. So when I saw you coming, we're like, at least you come and talk. Yeah, it's very nice. I like the fact that we all had like different opinions, different diverse, and which is kind of representative of what different parts of society represents. So when people come and watch the video, we try to cut some parts of the video too. People come and watch, they can relate to any person that is speaking, any individual. And then like I think you also made them feel like, okay, I'm not alone in this thought process and all those stuff. So I appreciate you all for your time. I'm glad that you people enjoyed the conversation. Thank you so much, everybody. Any final words, either to the constitution, to anywhere you want to end it?
Well, my own final word is like whenever you say a single mother, if you don't have anything nice to say, just stay quiet. If you can't support them, just stay quiet because they are. For me, I always see them as superwoman because they're doing the job of two healthy parents. So if you can't support them, if you can't help them, just go away. I mean, that's the least you can do. Don't
interfere.
Don't like interfere or try to demonize them or try to tell them. Even some people in our society will try to push them to go get married to some men that are worse than the absent fathers. So don't even do anything. Just stay where you are. If you can't support, just stay where you are. That's it. That's it.
It was a great show, sisters, and I'm really grateful for this platform where you allow us to really express ourselves without judging. Yeah, I'm really grateful. Today was a very great show.
Yeah, it was.
My last word. Do I have a last word?
It may not be last word, it can be
Anything,
sentence,
last
phrase,
ranting.
story.
Yeah, I'm passionate in this kind of topic based on my background that you've had an idea today. Based on my background, yeah, I wouldn't like to see women being discriminated against. I wouldn't like to see women being talked down because of most especially because of my background. Yeah, and that's why I even went back to school and did another degree in gender studies because I was so passionate about it. Yeah, so passionate about gender, and I went back to school and I did gender studies, and it's amazing. It broadens the mind, it opens your horizon, and all those things. Yeah. So that's it. So we all should be feminists, men, women.
I am a feminist.
Egusa.
We should be feminists. Yeah.